On today's Primetime Local News, the Interval Home expands to accommodate the 2,000 women and children turned away in 2018.
We will be able to reduce the amount of turnaways that we're seeing in our shelter immediately.
And students get new ways to soak up information on the hazards of vaping.
It is very eye-opening. Like, this opened my eyes to it.
Plus, City Council addresses the safety of drinking water amidst news of high lead levels in Alberta and Saskatchewan.
Hey, I'm Eric Bay, and tonight we are taking a look at some fashion as the Lloyd Styles Downtown Fashion Show is taking place this evening. So we're going to be talking all about what you can expect tonight and how they are supporting local designers and models as well throughout tonight's show.
Prime Time Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening, I'm Judy Gabriel. We begin tonight with the City Council meeting today, and they had a lot to discuss on the agenda, from the reallocation of funds from storm reserves to the latest news on safety of our drinking water. Our Josh Ryan has more from City Council.
On an otherwise slow day at City Council, there were still two very important projects handed out to contractors. The first, the East Drainage Channel rehabilitation, goes to Rusway Construction, dealing with the 40th Avenue crossing that affects much of the storm drainage system moving northeast through the city. The other, the Airport Emergency Generator upgrade, goes to ATCO Electric, and that is an important upgrade indeed for the airport, considering they don't have a primary option for when there is a power failure trying to land aircraft. And Mayor Albers also took a moment to reassure residents that the rising lead water levels that are seen in several cities across the country are not a worry here in Lloydminster, as fortunately there is not lead piping or lead sealant used in the city's infrastructure.
Well, over the past few years, the Lloydminster Interval Home has been providing a safe space for women and children in their emergency shelter. With the limited amount of beds, they've had to turn down thousands of people. But as our Jasmine King explains, the announcement of more beds is bringing hope to those who need it most.
The Lloydminster Interval Home's emergency shelter is a place where women and their children can stay if they are looking for a safe space in the community. For most of the year, the shelter is full, and that's why they have to turn down people more times than they've wanted to. With this new increase, they're hoping that can change.
Bridging the Gap we're very excited to talk about and finally get to launch, we'll be adding 12 more beds to our existing emergency shelter to increase from 21 to 33. And what that really means is we're able to make an immediate impact on the number of people we're turning away.
The bigger plan for the emergency shelter is to eventually build a new one. For now, they're hoping that adding these beds can be an interim solution.
This is really just, I guess you could say, plugging the hole, building the bridge between where we are now, which is turning away, 6 people a day, to where we want to be, which is ultimately a new shelter facility, which we still need. The building we're in now is approaching the end of its useful life, so for what it's intended for, which is sheltering.
Last year, the shelter had to turn away nearly 2,000 women and children due to lack of space, which is a very high number compared to the number of people who are in the border city.
Our ratio is 5 to 1, so for every 5 people we turn away, we're able to admit 1. And so those numbers actually rival Calgary. So in the province of Alberta, we're the second in line for that ratio. So we have the second highest turnaway ratio, which when you think about Lloydminster and the city size, it's a really good, strong indicator that our shelter is undersized and in need of expansion.
Synergy Credit Union also presented a check for $30,000 to the Interval Home Society. Having those types of partners in the community means a lot to them.
It means everything to us, actually, to know that we can be supported by strong community members and businesses such as Synergy Credit Union. Financially, it's important. I mean, we're a nonprofit organization that has to raise funds, so it's extremely important that we're supported financially. But as I said, the relationship is even more important.
They are hoping the changes will start to take place over the next few weeks. Jasmine King, Primetime Local News.
Health Canada and Lloydminster Comprehensive High School teamed up today to bring students an educational maze on the risks of e-cigarettes and other vaping products. Our Braden Chernachan has more.
Health Canada brought an informational maze to the students of Lloyd Comp. all about the hidden hazards of vaping. For students, it gives them the opportunity to learn something about the popular trend.
I thought it was just something you could stop easily and kids just do it to get attention, but I learned that it's much deeper than that. It goes into your brain development and it goes into your social standards and if you do it or if you don't do it and what the effects are.
Within the maze, there are interactive elements, like tablets with information on products that have nicotine and some games that require some problem solving for the answer. Students can now have a new way to soak that information in.
It's a big eye-opener, and especially in this kind of way, it's not like you're writing down a of stuff, and it's like, it's fun, it's interactive, and you get to do something while you're here.
Health Canada states if you know a youth that vapes, you should open a conversation about the risks, avoid criticism, and thank the teen for opening up. Teens shouldn't feel ashamed for using a product with unknown long-term effects.
There's toxins that you're inhaling into your lungs, which in turn impact and cause damage to your lungs over the long term. So I think, they are starting to learn and identify those options and seeing that maybe they're not as good. I mean, one thing isn't going to change their minds right away, but if we keep discussing and talking with them, I think we can slowly alter the minds of some youth.
With vaping being a popular trend among youth, Health Canada introduced this maze as an opportunity to educate both students and teachers about the risks of vaping. Braden Chernichan, Primetime Local News.
Every year across Canada, we take a day to remember and celebrate all the soldiers and armed forces that sacrifice themselves to save our country. This day also serves as a way to teach students the importance of the thousands of Canadians, men and women who laid down their lives so that we could live in a safe and beautiful country. Our Abby St. John has more on that story.
Students at Lloyd Comp participated in Remembrance Day by researching the many soldiers who lost their lives fighting for our country through the Canadian Virtual War Memorial.
Our activity focused on Indigenous soldiers, female Canadian Armed Forces members, Vimy Ridge fallen soldiers, as well as fallen Canadian Armed Forces members from Afghanistan, just to get kind of that diversity piece, as well as a historical perspective and a little bit of the contemporary armed conflicts that Canada has been involved in the more recent past.
There was also a cenotaph on display that was built by construction and carpentry students, as well as artwork done by some art students.
We do a lot of painting around the school, some of the posters and displays, and just bringing together the whole display with student empowerment to make the display themselves.
Something that impacted the students while they were researching the soldiers were their age.
It seems like a lot of the students were quite affected by how young a lot of fallen forces members were. So just as they went through the dog tag activity, one of the things that they search up for that fallen member is their age. So a lot of the fallen members of Canadian Forces are in their 20s. So I think that just really hit home with students.
This one guy, he just got out of school, I would say he was 19 years old when he died, and Herman Black was his name. He I would say he just trained and got to the war and died. It's just he was so young and didn't have much to live, and it was not that long for him.
For the students, they are able to take away important lessons from the research they did and how much these soldiers sacrificed for all of us.
All those guys saved us. They helped us. This is why our country's still here.
It's how much respect we should have for them. And they should get more than just a day. I feel like we should have it like all year round, just remembering them because they put their lives down for us. So,
according to Darcy McFarlane, this day holds great importance to the whole school.
I think this is one of the greatest lessons we do collectively as a school. And on Friday is a formal day, and we see all of our students come dressed up, and it's always very powerful. We get a lot of comments of how wonderful the service is and the guest speakers, and I certainly believe that the students go home really affected and humbled and have learned something important about the importance of Remembrance Day.
A Remembrance Day ceremony will be taking place on Friday at the Comp. Abby St. John, Primetime Local News.
From an inspiring story to a shameful act of a stolen box of poppies, the Lloydminster RCMP are looking for the public's assistance in identifying the individual responsible in the theft of a poppy box. Earlier Monday morning, an unidentified male was seen on camera entering a business in the 3900 block of 50th Avenue. Once in the store, the individual grabbed the poppy donation box and fled the scene while being chased by staff members. The Lloydminster RCMP are asking the public if they have any information related to this incident to contact the detachment or Crime Stoppers. We have a breaking news development in Canada's trade relationship with China. Canada pork and beef producers will once again be able to sell their products to China. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau tweeted out a short time ago that Canadian beef and pork exports to China will resume. He thanked Canada's ambassador to China and the Canadian meat industry for their work on reopening the markets. China blocked imports of Canadian pork and beef in June amid an increasing tense diplomatic standoff over the detention of Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou. And now to our Eric Bay, who was on location earlier today.
Back here again, and today we are talking about the Lloyd Style Downtown Fashion Show, and I'm joined now by Barb Bullhose, and now you are part of an organizer and also helping out to decorate the show as well. So first off, can you tell us a little bit about the importance of showing off that local fashion, especially here at a show like this?
Well, showing it off gives our models a chance to show the fashions, because a lot of them are like local people, or they're local people. Also, for people to know that downtown has fashion. It's we go to shows to bring in the most up and coming fashions.
And now you also mentioned they're kind of showing off that downtown, that local. So also by supporting local, you guys are also helping to give back as well. So can you talk about who you're giving back to with this night, and also kind of why you chose that group specifically?
This year we've chose the Lloyd Interval Home because they help women and children in crisis needs. Dawn and myself both feel that giving back to the community is very important. If we all work together, we all grow together.
And now if people do want to come out, help support you guys as well, and also a great local cause, how can people do so at the fashion show?
They can buy tickets at either Dawn Interiors or my store, Adeline Apparel. They're $15 a piece. That includes a high tea, which is basically finger sandwiches and desserts. Or I'm sure they can even show up at the door. If we have room, we'll get you in.
Sounds great. Thank you for that. And we're going to have some more from back here again, continuing with the Lloyd Style Downtown Fashion Show. But before that, we're going to head back into the studio.
Taking a look at our weather across the region, -10 here in Lloydminster. We did see snowfall overnight, which brought in some snow that left today, but it did clear up throughout the day. As we mentioned yesterday, it was going to get a little bit more sunny and a little bper clear. There's a little bit of cloud coverage right now and will continue overnight. And the wind is coming in from the north-northwest at 16 kilometers per hour, making it feel like closer to -17. Now across the region, -10 also out in Red Deer, -8 in Edson and Cold Lake, -6 in Jasper, -9 in Whitecourt, Athabasca, Edmonton, and Rocky Mountain House. And on the Saskatchewan side, -10 in North Battleford and in Melfort, -14 in Saskatoon, -8 in Meadow Lake and out in Prince Albert. Now overnight in North Battleford, a relatively clear sky with a low of -15, and the wind will slow down to 11 kilometers per hour, which will continue tomorrow, coming in from the west-southwest, and the daytime high should be -6 with a mix of sun and cloud throughout the day. In Cold Lake, a little bit of cloud coverage overnight, but it should be relatively clear with a low of -12, and that wind will slow down significantly to 11 kilometers per hour from the 21 that they are currently sitting at right now, and -6 will be the daytime high with a mix of sun and cloud. Here in Lloydminster, -14 overnight, and that wind will slow down to 11 kilometers per hour coming in from the northwest with relatively clear skies. And then tomorrow, a daytime high of -7 and a low of -14 tomorrow. On Thursday, a high of -3 and a low of -14 with mostly cloudy skies. And then on Friday, there's a 51% chance of some snow with a high of 0 and a low of -5. That wraps up your 3-day forecast. We'll have your 7-day forecast later on in the show.
Welcome back. A service manager at a Manitoba farm equipment dealership says machinery is being put to the test this year. As harvest continues to drag on into November, Ryan Weeb at Green Valley Equipment in Altona recommends keeping fuel conditioner in your tanks, noting summer fuel can gel up when it gets cold. Weeb says they've been hearing about issues with tracks clogging up with mud, so he advises cleaning as frequently as possible before it freezes up, while the mud is still softer. He also recommends storing machinery inside overnight if possible to help the startup in the morning, and he recommends storing fire extinguishers indoors overnight or in the cab to make sure they work if needed. And now here are your agriculture prices for today.
We're a part of less than 5% of Canadian auto body shops and Lloydminster's only locations with certified collision care recognition at City Centre Auto Body.
And now in the sports world, it may seem like a myth, but the Bobcats have claimed their second win of the season. This came in a huge home series this past weekend against the Drayton Valley Thunder. Our Evan Kenny will break down the events in this week's Beyond the Boards.
January 18th. The date might not mean much to some, but for the Bobcats, it means a ton. That's the last time the team had a home ice victory.
It's 3 or 4 points on the weekend, and we're back at it. It's good to win at home and in front of the fans here and the people that have believed in us and support us the whole way long.
The players were fired up for the game and started running away with the score. 3 unanswered goals by the Bobcats late in the game even got the fans fired up for the contest.
I mean, it feels great. I mean, getting the first one under the belt is definitely a big step in my game and definitely get the boys some energy, I think. So,
well, just the feeling of what it feels like to be on the other side of things for this young group and to continue to want that. And that's the big thing. And to soak it in a little bit tonight, and then we're back to work on Monday. So nothing changes. We're back on Wednesday and Friday and Saturday, and we'll continue to grind.
Skihar broke out, scoring his first career AJHL goal, but he wasn't the only one to break out. Mackenzie Stewart scored his first goal on the season, while Cameron Aucoin and Gunnar Kinderberg each had 2-point nights.
Oh, it feels good. Like I've been in a slump a little bit myself, and just 2-3 points tonight. It feels good. Great to get it going.
7 different players had points on Saturday, and those that didn't added in their own ways.
Tonight we played a 60-minute effort, and it turned around for us. So it's good to get a win in the home barn. So, I ended up just going with them, and pretty good tilts. It's good to put on a show here in Lloyd and get some fans out. So it's awesome.
The Bobcats will be back in action when they hit the road and take on the Sherwood Park Crusaders Wednesday night.
Maybe if you can't get too out of hand here, we play on Wednesday, so it's back to business on Monday morning.
Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
Beyond the Boards is brought to you by City Centre Auto Body. For over 35 years, City Centre Auto Body has been your go-to auto body shop.
And now to your weather with our Abby St. John.
Judy. Well, taking a look at our satellite radar throughout this afternoon, it was relatively clear here in Lloydminster. We did see snow overnight carrying into early this morning, but it definitely did die off, and we turned out to have a relatively clear and sunny day, as well as a lot of places within the region. As you can see, the snow has definitely moved further down south instead of heading west, and in North Battleford and Maidstone and Macklin area, they still experienced a little bit of snow, as the radar has said throughout this afternoon. Now, taking a look at current temperatures, it's still -10 here in Lloydminster, as well as in North Battleford, -11 in Macklin and St. Walburg, -9 in Maidstone, -8 in Pierceland, Isle La Crosse, Green Lake, and in Meadow Lake. And on the Alberta side, -11 in Vegreville and Vermilion, -12 in Wainwright and Provost, -9 in Edmonton and in St. Paul and Lac La Biche and Bonnyville, and -8 in Cold Lake. Now, taking a look at tomorrow's temperatures, -7 here in Lloydminster, as well as in Marwayne, Wainwright, Provost, and St. Paul, -6 in Vegreville, Bonnyville, Cold Lake, and Lac La Biche, and -5 out in Edmonton. And on the Saskatchewan side, -6 in Macklin, North Battleford, -7 in Maidstone, Pierceland, Meadow Lake, Green Lake, and Isle La Crosse, and -8 in St. Walburg. Now, overnight across the region, fairly clear, except there is a chance of some snow in Isle La Crosse, and it will also be fairly cool, with the temperatures ranging between -12 and -15 out in Unity. And so the trend will continue a little bit more clear overnight, as well as here in Lloydminster, to not worry so much about the snow. 8 a.m. tomorrow, it will be -13 with a mix of sun and cloud, mostly cloudy skies, but it will start to clear up as the day goes on. By the time recess rolls around, it'll be -10 degrees, and then get a little bit warmer at lunch at -8. It will stay at -8 until school is out, where it should be relatively sunny, just like we saw today, where the clouds kind of parted and we had a little bit more sun and less dreary and cloudy skies. Now, taking a look at your 7-day forecast, -14 is the daytime low for tomorrow, and then a high of -3 and a low of -14 on Thursday, where it should be mostly cloudy skies. There's a 51% chance of some snow on Friday, with a high of 0 and a low of -5, and then a 74% chance of some snow on Saturday, with a high of -8 and a low of -9. And then on Sunday, it gets a little bit cooler at -13 for the daytime high and a low of -19, but not a real chance that it should snow. And then on Monday, to start your week off, it'll be a high of -10 and a low of -21. So we get into those -20 degrees as Monday rolls around, and then we get a little bit warmer on Tuesday with a high of -7 and a low of -12. That wraps up your 7-day forecast. We'll have more news and question of the day coming up.
Once again today, we are checking out the Lloyd Styles Downtown Fashion Show, which is kicking off here tonight, and I'm joined now by Dawn Hames. And now this is something you guys have put on in the past, but first off, can you tell us a little bit about what is going on here at the fashion show?
For sure. It starts with high tea, which is basically small little sandwiches and lots of dainties and squares and cookies, and of course lots of tea. And then we move into, we've got some Highland dancers coming, so a little bit of entertainment. We have local fashions from downtown stores, plus we have a guest fashion vendor that's coming. We have a dress all the way fresh off the Paris runway that's going to be there. We have some designer clothes that are handmade by local designers. We also have Era Apparel, which is going to be there, and she does handmade vintage clothing. And this year she's focusing on vintage Paris. So it's going to be really fun.
Definitely tons of stuff happening for sure. Now just talk a little bit, I guess, too, about particularly this show. What's special about it, especially in a community like Lloydminster?
Well, I think there's lots of things that are really special about this show. Our models are all different sizes. They're all different ages. We have, as I was saying, a young girl that's modeling that just is from Kitscoty, and she walked the Paris runway. She's going to be there. We have a couple of other models. One was a contestant in the Miss Universe teen pageant, and another one was Miss Canada Universe contestant. So we have those girls for models, plus all of our favorite models that come back year after year, and a few new ones. So it's going to be really a great show.
All right, thank you for this, and we're going to have some more from back here, continuing with the Lloyd Style Downtown Fashion Show, but before that, we're going to head back into the studio.
Well, it's that time again for the question of the day, our favorite part, interacting with you guys on Facebook and stuff, and a lot of you chimed in, and the question came out of currently more than 350 grocery stores across Ontario can sell beer and cider, including 139 selling wine. So do you think this should expand to the rest of Canada? And a lot of you were saying a lot of good things. I think a lot of people want to do this.
Yes.
What have you gotten from
We
Facebook?
definitely got a lot of yeses. Mostly reasoning is one stop is better than two. You don't have to go to a different store. But there were a few people who are a little bit against it, saying that if they can't sell cigarettes or weed, why should they be able to sell alcohol? And then another one chimed in saying, what about legislation and hiring underage workers at grocery stores? Will that cut out their jobs or their chance of being hired and having their first kind of job? So there's those, but then obviously a lot of people did chime in saying, yes, it would be easier not having to bounce around from store to store. But for the most part, it's just a lot of them are comparing it to the US, saying, they sell them in the U.S., why can't they sell them here, and all that. So very mixed opinions on this matter.
Which is really good. I think people need to chime in and talk about it. I mean, liquor, well, you buy it from one place, but Co-op and other places already have their own stores, right? Grocery stores. I think Walmart was the one that was talking about having its own store. I think it's fine. I mean, they're going to have a block where, you know, it's like glass doors and stuff like that. Really not going to be part of the grocery store, so that's fine. Anyway, we're going to switch gears right now to Pet of the Day, of course. If you see your pets on here today, you get a chance to win a gift certificate from the Pet Pad, brought to you by the Pet Pad. Here's some cute ones that we got today.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
I'm here with Becca from the SPCA, and she's brought in this gorgeous mixed dog named Mummy, like the creature.
Yeah, the creature.
So adorable, very loving,
Yes.
super excited to be around new people. Tell me a little bit about her journey and where she came from and how she came to the SPCA.
Yeah, she was just kind of found north of Lloyd, so we don't really know much about her history. She was just found roaming around, so a nice guy brought her in and out of the cold sort of thing. But yeah, so she's been with us for just over a month now. We just got her spayed and she's ready to go. But yeah, we think she's about 6-7 years old, so a little bit older, but she still has a boatload of energy.
So tell me a little bit, we know that she's super energetic, but tell me a little bit about her other behaviors. Like, is she fully trained? Do people need to worry about her making a mess in their houses? Stuff like that.
Yeah, for the most part, what we have noticed is she just a little bit, like if she hears us, she gets a little bit barky in her kennel. So I think that she would prefer a home where someone is there often enough. I don't think she's really destroyed anything while being in the kennel, so I don't think she has terrible separation anxiety or anything like that, but I think she has maybe a little bit of separation anxiety. But I mean, other than that, like, she doesn't go to the bathroom in her kennel, and you know, they're left there overnight kind of thing until the next morning, and so she does hold it, so she's good for that. But yeah, like I said, the only thing is she just gets a little bit barky when we're paying attention to anything else but her.
Now, we were talking a little bit off camera about that she was interested. Three different people wanted put their names on a waiting list for her.
Yeah.
What happened with that?
I think, I think sometimes people just get excited. So, they initially see it and then they might go home and realize, what comes with owning a dog kind of thing. So I think, you know, that might just be the situation. So we did call everybody and no one did end up coming to adopt her kind of thing. So she is up for adoption. But I mean, she's so sweet and cute. Like, we just hope she finds a home soon.
And have you noticed how she acts around other dogs, or even walking past the cats kennels?
Yeah, like today, taking her past the cats, she really didn't show much interest. She was just excited to where we were, wherever we were going. And then the dogs, I think the girls at the shelter said she can get a little bit cranky with them, but I think a lot of that too comes with just that being stuck in a kennel kind of thing. So I think she would be okay with the right dog. Some dogs she might not get along with, but so far she hasn't been aggressive or anything.
And would that also translate to kids as well? Like, would she be okay in a home with young children?
I think so. Like, you know, like she is pretty like bouncy and happy still. Like, she wasn't jumping up on us too much or anything like that. But I think she can still be a bit energetic. So if you do have young kids, I mean, it's just a matter of training her not to bowl them over kind of thing. But I really don't see any issue with her in that situation.
Now you have a glitter night coming up. Yeah. Tickets are still on sales. Tell me a little bit about that event.
Yeah, so it's the Lloyd Mall. They put it on, and so each like store that is involved with their glitter night, they choose a charity. So I believe it's Corks. They have chosen us, so we are selling tickets for that night as well too. And they have deals and fun stuff going on that night, and then you enter your ticket in for a draw as well for that night as well too. So yeah, it's just $10 a ticket. All the proceeds go right back to us. None of it go, like they direct it right back towards us. So it's just a nice fun night after closing kind of thing. And if you want to get any Christmas shopping done, I hear they do have some pretty good deals.
And where can people buy tickets?
You can buy them at the mall in Corks, I believe, as well too. And then you can come to the SPCA and buy them from us as well.
All right, and how have you been doing with numbers with cats and even dog-wise?
Pretty good. Like, you know, with dogs, like we are calling off our waiting list to get a couple in, and same with cats, but a case with both of them, a lot of the people have rehomed them on their own or found where they belong kind of thing. So it's been pretty good. Like we are trying to get to everybody on that list that we can. But yeah, otherwise right now we aren't doing too bad for numbers.
Which is good.
Yes.
Because this is kind of the season where people will find strays. And
yeah.
all that. Do you plan on having another cat event, or for right now you're pretty good?
Right now we're really good. Like we're not too concerned about it. If you know, towards Christmas time, that seems to be when we'll have another one. So it really, again, depending on our numbers, if we have lots of cats in, we'll look at doing another one.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for bringing in Mommy, and hopefully she'll find her home very, very soon.
Yes, we hope so too.
Because she'll make a great pet for anyone.
Yes, she will, yeah.
All right.
Pet Project is brought to you by Quick Pick Waste Disposal, Lloydminster's #1 waste and recycling hauler. Quick Pick is waste collection you can depend on.
I'm Justin with Boom 1019 and 93.7 Hot FM, and here's what's happening. This Friday is Red Friday, and a pancake breakfast is going on to support our troops. It's happening over at the Elks Hall here in Wainwright from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Minimum $3 donations, with all proceeds going to the Soldier On Fund. For more information, make sure you check out our websites, 1019boom.com or 93.7 Hot FM. Moving on, the Red Cross Lifeguard course is happening November 8th to the 12th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Cost is $285, and registration can be made at the Communiplex Pool office. Now, payment is due at the time of registration, and for more information on prerequisites or any other questions, please call the Communiplex Pool office at 780-842-5508. And this is going to be a good one. Alan Doyle, he's going to be in Lloydminster on March 1st. Tickets are available now. And the 2019 Father-Daughter Gala is happening in Vermilion this year over at the Regional Center, Thursday, November 28th. 5:30 registration, 6 o'clock dinner with a dance to follow. The event is sponsored by Websport and Norsport. I'm Justin with Boom 1019 and 93.7 Hot FM, and that's what's happening.